And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Ives Lamel Family Field on the campus of Brevard College for this latest edition of Brevard College Tornado football. Highly anticipated matchup between the Tornadoes, the host from Brevard College, and the Averett University Cougars. Tornadoes looking to get their first win of the season, have played a difficult non-conference schedule. If you remember back on September 2nd, a 29-23 overtime defeat to Warner. And then hit the road, played Hampden-Sydney up in Virginia last week in a 31-17 loss. So the 0-2 Tornadoes taking on the 2-0 Cougars. Averett opened their season at Apprentice School, a 34-14 victory there, and then a big win last week as well, 34-7. So Averett's put up the identical number offensively, 34 points, both on the second and the ninth to start off this season. Now facing off against Brevard, a 6 p.m. kickoff here. Kind of a twilight kickoff time here at Ives Lamel Family Field, and two very familiar foes. Averett, a former rival in the USA South Conference, now a mention of the ODAC, also known as the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. And the Tornadoes in Averett all time have played 6 matchups, and even Steven, 3 wins apiece. So we'll see who comes out ahead here. Each team 2-1 on their own home field. But for the 7th consecutive season, the Tornadoes will take on Averett. And certainly will be interesting as we get things going here. It's been a big week of preparation for the Tornadoes. Coach Kyatt and company changed some things up. And we'll let you know the starters and also preview this matchup even further as we count down towards the kickoff. Tornadoes and Cougars coming up shortly. Back here at Ives Lamel Family Field, just over 24 minutes till the start of this one. Brevard versus Averett. And we'll take a look at the starting lineups. First for the visitors from Averett. We'll take a look at that starting offense for the Cougars. Quarterback Bryce Jackson in his 5th year gets the start. They list just one running back, so a 3 wide receiver set with 1 running back in their starting lineup. Number 22, Draylon Martin. Sean Watlington Nick Andrews and Tavian Goffigan, wide receivers, Christian Williams at tight end, and then the offensive line for Averett. The center is Matthew Issam. Guards are Jonathan Thomas and D.K. Byers-Henderson, and then the tackles are Johnny Alston and Vincent Nguyen. On defense for the Cougars, Jalen Russell, Mike Cotton, and Ezekiel Williams make up the defensive line, along with Dondra Burris. Lamar Horner, Kumar Price, and Seth Harden are the linebackers. Defensive backs, Damian Payton, Kerry Dickinson, Kendall Spriggans, and Namari Borders. Also worth mentioning the Averett specialists, place kickers Will Cavinus, punter Mason Smith, and we'll see a lot of P.J. Hopper in the return game. Let's take a look at the Tornadoes starting lineup. First, on the offensive side of things, quarterback Ethan Beamish will be making his third career start in a Tornado uniform, the sophomore from Simpsonville, South Carolina. Chancellor Lee Parker gets the start at running back. We'll see a heavy dose of DJ Taylor and also Devontae Murray as well. Chancellor Lee Parker, that exciting senior out of Auburn, Georgia. Starting wide receivers, number 19, Adam Douglas, the sophomore, and also Cooper Hogan get the start. Now, Zachary Orr, who leads the entire USA South Conference in receiving, he's listed second string in the two deep. The reason why, his snaps may be limited a bit. He was nursing an injury throughout the week of practice, so we'll keep an eye on Zachary Orr, again, the leading receiver in the USA South Conference. At the tight end position, Andrew Bishop gets the start. We'll see some of Joe Powell as well. At halfback, Regan Ramey. And then the offensive line for the Tornadoes at center, Todd Norman. The guards, LaRoderick Rucker and Hayden Schnell. And then at tackle on the left side, Henry Tart, and on the right side, Brody Lindsay. Now let's take a look at the Tornado defense. Up front, in the middle, Obadiah Grimes, the sophomore for the Tornadoes, will line up in that nose guard position. We'll see some of Ernest Smith, the second, in that spot as well. Defensive ends, Wyatt Langford and also Trey Williams. Linebackers on the outside, Ben Ellis. We'll see some of Lyndon Gaunt in that spot as well. Gerquenzio Koger Jr., the graduate student, recent guest on Tornado Talk at the other outside linebacker position. Inside, Toby Naylor, also Eli Everhart. And then the defensive backs, always a strong unit for the Tornadoes. Cameron Moore, Dylan James, Quintrell Bowman, and Jock Pledger get the start. Worth noting, Montrell Stinson, one of the top defensive backs for the Tornadoes, is out with an injury at the safety position. Special teams for the Tornadoes, Hugo Taylor, who won the USA South Conference Player of the week number 1 of this young season. He'll be handling the field goals and the place kicking. Punter Nick Akis, and then in the return game, expect to see Jock Pledger, Kyle Lovett, DJ Taylor, also Cooper Hogan. Long snappers, Jamie Tinsley, and the holder is also Nick Akis. So there's your personnel as we are about 20 minutes away from the start of this one. Tornadoes and Cougars, two very familiar foes. These coaching staffs know each other's personnel very, very well. I was talking to some of the Tornado coaches, and they said, yeah, we've been watching these same Averett Cougars, it seems like, for years now, and feel like we've seen them progress throughout their collegiate careers. So two very familiar clubs, as we mentioned, 3-3 in the all-time series. They've played every year since the two teams first met as members of the USA South Conference, and now in a non-conference affair. Averett from the ODAC, Tornadoes, of course, representing the USA South. They'll go at it again here to really stake an early claim for both teams and try to springboard into conference play, which begins next week, homecoming weekend for the Tornadoes. So about 19 minutes, 25 seconds away from really getting things going here. We'll have the national anthem. We'll have the invocation. And we'll have the coin toss, and then toe will meet leather, and we'll get things started here at Eis Lamel Family Field on the campus of Brevard College. By the way, the weather, very pleasant, 71 degrees currently. It'll get a little cooler than that. And do just want to make note, as far as the idea of playing this game under the lights at night, there's a lot of excitement with the student body. Obviously, the student athletes for the Tornado football team get a bolt of energy, no pun intended, with the atmosphere under the lights. So expecting a big crowd tonight and a big presence from the student section, and it should be a lot of energy, especially come that second half when the sun sets and we really get things going in earnest. There is a slight chance of some showers. You can see some cloud cover in the area, so we may get a little bit of a rainy condition perhaps in that first quarter, but that'll probably be about it, as things would clear up later in the evening as well. So that sets the stage for the Tornadoes and the Cougars. Stick with us. We'll have more for you shortly from here at Islamel Family Field. And as we approach kickoff, about 5 minutes away, Tornadoes coming through the helmet, located on the Fieldhouse side, the east side of the Eis Lamel Family Field Stadium complex. Tornado siren howling, crowd cranking it up, drum line drumming, and Tornadoes are ready for a big one here, taking on their old foe from the USA South Conference, now a member of the ODAC, Averett. Meanwhile, 4 captains for the Tornadoes: Ben Ellis, also Cooper Hogan, Nick Akis, and Eli Everhart. Tornadoes taking the approach this year. The captains vary from week to week, and those are the 4 for the Tornadoes. So they meet the captains of Averett for the coin toss coming momentarily here. So coin toss coming here. Tornadoes in the home blue with the silver helmets. Averett in the white with the yellow pants. So coin toss. And we'll see who wins the toss and the election from there. So Brevard wins the toss and elects to receive. So Tornadoes want the ball first and are hungry to strike first blood as the rest of the Averett team makes their way from their locker room located in the Boschmer Gymnasium to the far sideline. So getting ready to get started here, Brevard and Averett. Out of Danville, Virginia, the Cougars have made the trip down here to mountains of western North Carolina on a beautiful Saturday evening in September. We're just moments away from the invocation and the national anthem here at Eis Lamel Family Field.
Please stand and physically able for today's invocation, which will be followed by our national anthem. Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father God, we thank you for this day and all the many blessings of this life. We thank you for allowing us to be in your presence on this beautiful evening here in Brevard. We thank you for these 2 teams, Averett and Brevard, who have practiced and worked very hard to be out here on this field today. We ask that you place your healing hand on all the players and keep them free from injury and out of harm's way. We thank you for all the coaches, staff, trainers, and parents, and many others who have put in countless hours to help these student athletes. And Lord, we'd like to say a special prayer for our brave men and women in uniform who are fighting each and every day to protect our freedoms that we are so truly blessed to enjoy in our daily lives. For it is because of the brave that we are indeed the home of the free. Now, Lord, be with these student athletes as they bless us with the opportunity to watch them compete with good sportsmanship. And after the conclusion of today's game, please allow everyone here to have safe travels on their way home, and may we always thank you each and every day for everything you have given us. We pray all of this in your most holy and precious name. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please remain standing and remove your hats for the singing of our national anthem performed today by Brevard College student athlete and drumline member, Miss Senior Grace Vault.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Big thank you to Grace Vaught, a student athlete here at Brevard College, member of the women's lacrosse team, also member of the drumline, multi-talented Grace Vaught with that rendition of the national anthem. Also, big thanks to Ray Gill providing our invocation this evening. And we're just moments away from getting started here. Tornadoes and Cougars. Brevard won the toss, elected to receive. So, Cougars will kick off from left to right on your device. Deep for Brevard. DJ Taylor and Cooper Hogan. And we are underway. And Hogan's going to pick it up at the 2-yard line. I think he momentarily, check that, Kyle Lovett picked that up at the 2-yard line. I think he momentarily thought it was going to bounce through the end zone for a touchback, but Lovett picks it up at the 2. And so challenging field position after a short return to the 10-yard line. So 5 wide receiver set. Ethan Beamish in the shotgun quickly finds a receiver, Adam Douglas. So completion right off the bat by the Tornadoes on first down. It's a gain of 7, so we'll call it 2nd and 3. So good quick release there. Interesting package the Tornadoes come out with to start this contest. 5 wide receivers, empty backfield. Meanwhile, Chancellor Lee Parker now to Beamish's right. In motion's Cooper Hogan. And a quick out to Hogan in the flat, and Hogan turns up field, and that's going to be a first down for the Tornadoes. So 2 positive plays. Beamish on that one finding Hogan as he was pushed out of bounds by Seth Harden eventually, but that's a big gainer. All the way up to the 34-yard line. Handoff to Chancellor Lee Parker. He has a hole through the right side of that offensive line. And a gain of about 4 yards. Brought down by Kerry Dickinson, one of the safeties for the Cougars. So 2nd and 6 from the 38. Beamish able to find Chancellor Lee Parker, who turns upfield. He makes a tackler miss, crosses midfield, and that's going to be a big gainer for for Chancellor Lee Parker. So Beamish now 3 for 3 on this drive. Seth Harden eventually brought down Chancellor Lee Parker. So another first down for the Tornadoes, who have now entered Averett territory on this opening drive. An impressive start for the Tornado offense. 3 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Handoff inside to Devontae Murray, and Murray able to pick up 7 yards. So we'll call it 2nd and 3. Brought down once again by Dickinson. We've called his name a couple times, but certainly not ideal for the Averett defense for their safety to be making these tackles. As the Tornadoes, once again, more positive yardage. You saw a 16-yard pass early on to Hogan, an 18-yard pass to Chancellor Lee Parker, and now a rush once again to Devontae Murray. He's going to be stopped short of the first down marker, so it's going to be 3rd and 2 from the 36. Chancellor Lee Parker checks back in. Also see Zachary Orr to the left to the near sideline. We'll tell you more about Orr's week in a moment. Meanwhile, dropping back under center was Beamish, and he's able to make the play complete. So great job by Cooper Hogan getting his hands under that football, and another first down for the Tornadoes. So very impressive early drive here.
That's a Brevard College first down.
So now 1st and 10. From the 28. Beamish in the shotgun. Drops back and is able to elude one pass rusher, then he's brought down. That's a big loss there as Russell and Williams combined for the sack for Averett. Jalen Russell and Ezekiel Williams. That's a big loss as he's pushed all the way back to the 41, so a loss of 13. It'll be 2nd and 23. Three wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Inside handoff, and Zachary Orr. So kind of a different look there. We usually see Zachary Orr as purely a pass receiver, but he was lined up in really like a running back type position there. Then the handoff to Orr underneath. Maybe a conservative play call with the long down and distance, but other idea would just be simply to catch the Averett defense off guard, but they didn't bite on that. A 4-yard gain. So 3rd and 19 from the 37. Beamish in the shotgun. Drops back. Pass rush is coming, and once again he's going to be sacked. So 2 sacks in the last 3 plays. Russell was there once again. So a punt team coming in and pushed out of field goal range after the sacks. And the punt here for Nick Akis takes a positive bounce for the Tornadoes. And that's going to be down all the way inside the 10 at about the 7-yard line. So great punt by Nick Akis. Sort of brought out his pitching wedge for that one and able to place that inside the 10. Something he's been doing nicely all season long. But it makes the field position very difficult. for Averett, who will start here, 1st and 10 from the 7. And rush there, and a quick tackle by the Tornadoes. Isaiah Lighton had the carry. Coger Jr., Frequencio Coger Jr., a guest on Tornado Talk this week, had a huge game against Hampton-Sydney after missing game 1 of the season. The linebacker from Macon, Georgia, and a big-time play there for no gain. And running back here, able to cross midfield, it's Isaiah Lighton, and all the way to the 18-yard line of Brevard. That's a huge gain.
Brought down by number 14, Cameron Moore, and number 6, Israel Logan.
75-yard rush there by Lighton. A huge explosive play. And drop pass there as looking for Andrews in the flat. Quarterback for Averett, Bryce Jackson, but big rush there for Lighton. Just flipped the field entirely. 75 big ones. But after the drop pass, 2nd and 10 from the 18. Martin in the backfield. Jackson in the shotgun position for Averett. Jackson back to pass and was looking for Andrews. Several Tornado defenders were there. A lot of traffic up the middle there for Jackson. So incomplete. It brings up 3rd and 10 from the 18-yard line. First quarter. .54 on the game clock.
Here for your Tornado defense.
Jackson back to pass. Some heavy pass rush from the Tornadoes. And almost intercepted. Cam Moore almost came up with the interception, but the bottom line is a big stop there for the Tornado defense. Some great pressure from that defensive line. Really seemed to rush Jackson. Meanwhile, we're going to have a field goal attempt. This is going to be from 35 yards. Will Cavaliers with the 35-yard attempt. Kick is up. And it's wide right, so no good. So the Tornadoes able to dodge a bullet a bit there after the big 75-yard run from Lighton, and will regain possession here in a scoreless ball game at Isleville Family Field. Your score was 7:44 to play in the first quarter. Tornadoes 0, Cougars 0. So flags on this opening play of the second drive. And it's going to be a false start on the Tornadoes. Looked like they were trying to catch Averett off guard, but see officially what the ruling is here. It's actually going to be an offsides call on Averett, so it'll be 1st and 5. So working quickly there. Averett ends up jumping offside. So well done. 1st and 5 from the 25. Zachary Orr once again And Orr is stopped right about the original line of scrimmage. So it'll be 2nd and 5 from the 25, so no gain. Now a little bit of a discussion on that far sideline, the Averett sideline. So a brief break in the action, just making sure we got the change crew correct after that 5-yard offsides call. So looks like everything's in order. 2nd and 5 from the 25. As Ethan Beamish now under center. Chancellor Lee Parker in the backfield. Adam Douglas split out to the left. Zachary Orr split to the right. Chancellor Lee Parker. There's a lot of traffic there, and there's a loose ball. Averett believes they have it. Still looking for an official ruling. And indeed, Averett able to come up with the turnover. Like Lamar Horner of Averett in the middle of all that. Redshirt junior out of Centerville, Virginia. And the Tornadoes on their 2nd possession with the turnover. And just like that, Averett with a big opportunity here after a takeaway. So 1st and 10 from the 26. Martin in the backfield with Jackson. Testerman and Goffigan wide to the left. Rush to the right side and stopped just short of the line of scrimmage. So 2nd and 1 from the 17. Pass incomplete. Intended for Testerman. So a big 3rd down coming here. 3rd and 1. That Tornado front, including Trey Williams, Ernest Smith, Wyatt Langford, Quenzio Koger Jr. in that linebacker position. Big play here, 3rd and 1. Inside handoff, and that's going to be a 1st down. Draylen Martin able to get behind a couple of his big offensive linemen and power forward for the 1st down. Trey Williams eventually brought him down. So 1st and 10 from the 13. Rush to the left. Nice hole by the left side of that offensive line. DK Byers Henderson, also Johnny Austin. And Quencio Koger Jr. brings him down. Ben Ellis was there as well. So 2nd and 6 from the 9. Jackson back to pass. And through the end of the back of the end zone there, incomplete. Intended for Goffigan. So another third down opportunity for this defense. 3rd and 6. Jackson back to pass. Great coverage there by the Tornadoes. Pass was intended for Watlington. Cam Moore was all over the coverage. And a good stop there in the red zone by the Tornado defense. That'll bring up another field goal attempt. First time out. Will Cavanis missed from 35 yards. This one will be from 25 yards. Call it 26 officially. Kick is up. In good. So the 26-yard field goal by Will Cavanis. Cavanis, the fifth-year senior out of Greensboro, North Carolina, with the first score of the game here. So with 5:25 left to play here in the first quarter at Islamel Family Field on the campus of Brevard College, your score, Averett 3, Brevard 0. So Will Cavanis, after connecting on that field goal, is going to kick off for Averett. 5:25 left to play here in the first quarter. Kyle Lovett and DJ Taylor deep. It's going to be Taylor. Fumbles the kickoff briefly, then picks it up, and here comes Taylor. Taylor to the 30-yard line before he's shoved out of bounds. So nice recovery there from Taylor after a little bit of trouble initially fielding that kickoff. So down to the 29-yard line, 1st and 10. That's where the Tornadoes will get things started. 3-0 Averett after the 26-yard field goal by Cavanis, making the Tornadoes pay after a turnover. Beamish. Intended for Joseph Cuellar. Joseph Cuellar, freshman out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. You see him at tight end, also that H-back position. 2nd and 10 for Ethan Beamish. Beamish, play action pass, and just past the arms of Jordan Roel. So that brings up a 3rd and long, so back-to-back incompletions. Beamish started this game 4 for 4 and has missed on his last 3 suddenly. So 3rd and 10 from the 29. Beamish out of the shotgun, scanning his options, and overthrows the intended receiver. A late flag comes in, so we'll see what this is all about. It was intended for Zachary Orr, leading receiver in the USA South Conference. We've seen him in a couple different alignments in this game. Well, we'll see what the flag's all about. Initial indication, at least from the Tornado sideline, was that it was against Averett. So it's a 15-yard unnecessary roughness personal foul penalty after the play, a late hit by number 33, Trey Maxwell of Averett. So that's a big break for the Tornadoes, who were on the verge of going 3 and out, but instead pick up an additional 15 yards and a first down due to the personal foul on the Cougars. A couple of interior linemen from the Cougars jump, but then jump back, no flag. Meanwhile, 10 on the play clock. Beamish, inside handoff here to DJ Taylor, and he is confronted by just a wall of linemen for Averett. Gain of 2. So 2nd and 8 from the 46. Got a stoppage of the clock with 4:43 to play. Maybe an injury on the far sideline, but backing off and running here, 4:40 to play. Quick pass there, finding Adam Douglas, and stopped right at midfield. That's going to be 4 yards short, so 3rd and 4 from the 50. So another 3rd down for the Tornadoes. Brevard thus far 2 of 3 on 3rd down opportunities. 4:10 and counting here in the first quarter. Tornadoes trailing 3-0. Beamish from the shotgun. Able to find Adam Douglas, and Douglas turns upfield. That's going to be a Tornado first down, so nicely done there. Gain of 11 for the combination of Ethan Beamish and Adam Douglas. Borders and Maxwell eventually brought him down. Adam Douglas, sophomore from Greensboro, North Carolina, Southeast Guilford High School, becoming one of the favorite targets of Ethan Beamish. That was his 3rd catch already today. Rush here, DJ Taylor, and he's driven out of bounds. Gain of 4, so 2nd and 6 from the 35.
Brings up 2nd and 6 for your Tornadoes.
Seventh play of the drive. Coming here for the Tornadoes, trying to move the ball deeper into Averett territory. This rush, gain of 3, maybe 4 from DJ Taylor. That'll bring up 3rd and short. Back-to-back rushes from DJ Taylor. Exciting senior out of Lawrenceville, Georgia, Archer High School. Several Tornadoes from that region of Georgia. 2:18 to play here in the first. Beamish drops back on 3rd and 2. Scanning his options. He's got an open receiver, and that's going to be a completion to Cooper Hogan and another first down for the Tornadoes. So this drive continues, and it's been an impressive one. The 4th first down of this drive. And that's the 3rd catch for 24 yards for Cooper Hogan. So Hogan and Douglas each with 3 catches here in this first quarter. Rush here, Devontae Murray, and Murray's able to turn upfield, get into the secondary of Averett. And that's going to be a first down. Looks like a gain of 10. So Murray able to earn the first down, so it's now 1st and goal from the 7. So very impressive drive continuing. This is the 10th play of the drive. Rush there, Murray once again. Tornadoes using a nice combination of rush and pass on this drive, and Russell able to drag down the ball carrier. Under a minute to play here in the first quarter. So it'll be 2nd and goal. From the 5-yard line. Zachary Orr in the backfield. Beamish able to find the receiver in the corner, and that's a touchdown. Adam Douglas able to bring it down. 5-yard touchdown. Tornadoes on the board as Beamish and Douglas just perfect on a timing route in the corner of that end zone. Really nicely done. And the Tornadoes, just like that, march down the field and take a lead. Kick is up. And good. So the extra point by Hugo Taylor makes it a 7-3 lead for the Tornadoes with 30 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Great drive there for the Tornadoes, capped off by the touchdown. Beamish to Adam Douglas. So big time drive there by the Tornadoes, capped off by the 5-yard touchdown pass from Ethan Beamish to Adam Douglas. A 12-play, 71-yard drive. Took up 4 minutes and 46 seconds. And certainly exactly what the Tornadoes needed after a turnover led to an initial field goal by Averett. There's a late flag that just came in. So we'll see what the flag is all about after the kickoff return for Averett. PJ Hooper with the return. See what the flag is. So PJ Hopper, excuse me on the pronunciation there. Hopper, the kickoff returner. So a block in the back was the penalty on Averett. Backs up the Cougars all the way to the 10. So 1st and 10 from the 10. And Jackson will go back to work. Jackson, inside handoff there, and the Tornadoes defense is there on the case, but there's flags everywhere. Gabby Soto with the carry. Face mask the call on Ernest Smith II. So after a penalty backed up Averett, now we're going to march them off the other way. $18 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Brevard 7, Averett 3. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cougars from the 25. Gabby Soto in the backfield. 3 wide receivers to the right of Bryce Jackson. He's got a receiver spread out far to the left as well. And Averett's going to be content just letting the time run out here at the end of the first quarter. With your score, Tornadoes 7, Cougars 3.
Every cheer, for every play, we know there's a little prayer that no one gets hurt. That's why we are there too. Party athletic trainers, physicians, and specialists. We're watching closely for any sign that someone needs care. And if your child is hurt, they're seen right away by the region's top specialists. The Party Sports Medicine team is at every game, match, race, practice, and workout, providing medical attention and guidance. For us, winning is all about playing healthy and smart so you can perform at your best.
Back here at Islamel Family Field, start of the second quarter. Tornadoes with a 7-3 advantage. Rush here by Bryce Jackson, the quarterback, with a keeper. Statistically in that first quarter, the Tornadoes with 8 first downs compared to just 3 for Averett. And in total yards, Brevard with 102, Averett with 89. There was a turnover, a fumble that Averett capitalized on for a field goal. Lone touchdown of the first quarter. Came late in that corner after a long 12-play drive by the Tornadoes to take a 7-3 lead. Gabby Soto with the carry. And another first down for the Cougars. So 1st and 10 from the 40. Pass here, incomplete. Then a late flag comes in that neighborhood of either defensive holding or pass interference. Clock stopped at 13:53. So it'll be a defensive holding on Quintrell Bowman. So for the second time this drive, the Tornadoes give up a first down via penalty. And it'll be 1st and 10 right at midfield at the 50-yard line. Wind currently blowing to the east, which means it's at the back of Averett this quarter. It seems like the wind's varying from time to time. You see a gust and then it slows back down. Pass upfield there and able to find the open receiver, Watlington, and he's going to go all the way for a 50-yard touchdown, as Watlington had a lot of room to navigate there, and Bryce Jackson found him in stride, 50 yards on the touchdown, the pass and catch. And the Cougars back into the lead. Cavanis with the extra point. And your score with 13:44 to play in the second quarter after the 50-yarder. As Jackson found Sean Watlington for the 50-yard touchdown catch. Watlington, the junior out of Danville, Virginia. 10-7, Cougars on top. So Averett capitalizes with a 50-yard touchdown catch to Watlington. They've had two really, really big plays. In that first quarter, Isaiah Litton with a 75-yard rush. And then Watlington with the 50-yard reception all the way to pay dirt. As Kyle Lovett takes it from the goal line. Lovett turning upfield. Lovett with a nice return there. Eventually brought down by Ben Mast, freshman for the Cougars. And so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Tornadoes, and Ethan Beamish at the 28. Joe Powell is checked in at tight end position. First time we've seen him. Rush here, and that's going to be a tackle for loss. Averett was all over it. Chancellor Lee Parker with the rush. That's going to be a loss of a few. P.J. Hopper was there. Price was there as well. So loss of 4. 2nd and 14. Beamish drops back. Now scrambles to his right. And throws it out of bounds. In the direction of Jack Spots. Jack Spots, sophomore wide receiver out of Bynum, North Carolina, Northwood High School. A deep Tornado receiving core. Spots part of it. But here's a difficult down and distance for the Tornadoes. 3rd and 14 from their own 25. Beamish drops back. Pressure once again from the Cougars pass rush, and Beamish just launches it out of bounds. Pressure coming from Ezekiel Williams of the Cougars. So that'll bring up 4th down, and the punting team will head onto the field. Nick Akis. This will be his second punt. The first punt went for 38 yards. P.J. Hopper deep for the Cougars. And the punt from Akis. It's a line drive. Takes a fortuitous bounce for the Tornadoes. And down at the 43. So a punt of 33 yards for Nick Akis, and Averett will take over from there. 1st and 10 from the 43. Bryce Jackson takes back over for Averett. Last drive he collected with Watlington for a big 50-yard touchdown. Nice job there by the Tornado defense. So after tackle for loss, Tornadoes defense getting it done again. Wyatt Langford in the backfield. So this will push him back. Line to gain is the 47 of Brevard. So 3rd and long for Averett. After Tornadoes with a big stop there on 2nd down. And able to find an open receiver, and he propels himself forward for the first down. Shaheem Watlington making the play there. .10:40 and counting. Rush here once again, Shaheem Watlington. Brought down by Dylan James. Also Nicholas Schultes getting in on the tackle. Schultes, the transfer from Newberry, senior defensive lineman. Hometown, Rutland, Vermont. Pass there. Tackles made by Jock Pledger. Trevor Testerman went up high to gather that offering from Bryce Jackson. And it is good for a first down, so that'll move the chains. 1st and 10 from the 34. Jackson back to pass. Able to find an open receiver. Tornadoes defenders are there. It was Testerman again. Quintrell Bowman with the tackle. Toby Naylor was also in the vicinity. So 2nd and 6. Averett with a 10-7 lead. 9 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Jackson, inside handoff there. Shaheem Watlington, we've seen a big dose of him this drive. Hadn't seen him in the first quarter. But 6 touches already this drive. 8:30 to play. And that brings up a 3rd and short. So Tornado faithful trying to pump up their defense. 8:19 to play here, second quarter, 3rd and 2. And getting in the backfield there and able to make the play. Bryce Jackson kept it himself. Robert Dorsey. Big defensive lineman for the Tornadoes. sophomore out of Greenville, South Carolina. 4th and 4. It's in that part of the field where a field goal would be a lengthy one. Field goal would be about 45 yards if they were to attempt it. So they're going to go for it here. 4th and 4. And completion is made. Testerman able to somehow come up with that, and he quickly turns upfield. So there is a flag on the field, so we'll see what that's all about. Jackson released that quickly to Testerman, and Testerman turned forward, made a big gainer out of it, but it's all coming back due to a false start by Averett. So decision time once again for Averett, because now it's going to be 4th and 9 from the 33. But it looks like they're still going to go for it here. Field goal would be even from a longer distance, more like 50 yards. You could punt it, theoretically. Maybe a pooch punt. You see that kind of thing in these situations. But 4th and 9. Back to pass is Jackson. Looks upfield, and Tornado defense there. Toby Naylor making the play there. Nice job by the Tornadoes and turning it over on downs. Averett and the Cougars have their drive stalled at the 33-yard line. But the key play there was that false start, as that backed up the Cougars even further, nullified what would have been a first down for the Cougars on 4th down. Tornadoes take over on downs here, and Ethan Beamish will go back to work with the Tornado offense. He has Chancellor Lee Parker in the backfield to his left, 3 wide receivers to the right. Jack Spots is in the contest as well. Same with Jordan Rowell. He's in motion. Hogan able to make the catch, moves upfield. So 1st and 10, so nicely done there. That's the 9th first down of the evening for the Tornado offense.
That's a Brevard College first down.
Hogan and Douglas have really been the preferred targets for Beamish. And there's Zachary Orr. So Zachary Orr is the leading wide receiver in the USA South Conference after first 2 games of the season. He was nursing a couple of injuries throughout the week, and got himself right with the help of the athletic training staff. And the idea was today he was going to be limited a bit, but we've seen quite a bit of Zachary Orr, which is great news, which means his health is in good shape, as that's a deep shot from Beamish down the far sideline. Incomplete. Zachary Orr, the intended receiver, so right on cue as we're talking about Orr and his young season. The deep shot to him, incomplete. So that'll bring up 3rd and 2. That 2nd and short situation is often a spot you see a deep shot like that, but Tornadoes unable to convert it. Meanwhile, 3rd and 2, and Beamish nicely done there. Surgically finding Kyle Lovett. Finding that open in the defense, and then finding Kyle Lovett. Lovett, the 5th different receiver that Beamish has used this evening. Beamish now 11 for 17 for 102 yards, so he's broken the 100-yard mark. Does have that touchdown pass as well to Adam Douglas. Beamish back to pass once again. On the move, and he's going to be brought down. That's going to be a quarterback sack by Averett. Roland Norfleet the third. Linebacker out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Able to come up with the quarterback sack. So it'll be 2nd and 14 for BC. Now 4:50 to play here in the second quarter. Little wheel route there. Jordan Roel.
Pass complete number 87, Roel. Brought down by number 0, Lamar Horner.
Very nominal gain there. So it'll be 3rd and 13. Third and 13 from the 33. Beamish. Back to pass. And a receiver slipped, and it's an interception for Averett. And there's a late flag that comes in. It looks like that was after the play. And the interception for the Cougars. Seth Harden is who came up with it. Senior linebacker out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So the flag was simply for a sideline warning on Averett, so no yardage. But the most important news of all, especially from Averett's perspective, on a positive note for the Cougars, on a negative note for the Tornadoes, that's a interception there. Seth Harden coming up with it. Looked like the Tornado wide receiver being targeted had slipped a bit, and Harden very opportunistically came up with that interception. Second turnover of the evening for the Tornadoes offense. Rush here, and that'll be a gain of 5. Isaiah Litton. So we've seen several running backs for Averett. Isaiah Litton, who busted off a big one of 75 yards in the first quarter. Draylon Martin we've seen. Also Shaheem Watlington. Gabby Soto as well. It's Litton again. And Litton battling through the trenches there. There's a lot of contact in the middle of all that. Nicholas Schultes with the tackle. So now bring up another third down. Averett on the day, 2 of 5 in third down situations. This is another big one here. 3rd and 2 from the Averett 48-43. Play clock down to 3, and Averett's going to have to burn a timeout because that play clock was approaching 0 quickly. And Averett takes their timeout, the first charge to Averett this half. So with 2:42 to play, your score, Cougars 10, Tornadoes 7.
Every cheer, for every play, we know there's a little prayer that no one gets hurt. That's why we are there too. Party athletic trainers, physicians, and specialists. We're watching closely for any sign that someone needs care. And if your child is hurt, they're seen right away by the region's top specialists. The Party Sports Medicine team is at every game, match, race, practice, and workout, providing medical attention and guidance. For us, winning is all about playing healthy and smart so you can perform at your best.
.242 to play here in the second quarter. Cougars 10, Tornadoes 7. And a big 3rd and 2 situation here. See Ben Ellis in this package defensively for the Tornadoes. Also, Requencio Coger Jr. So 3rd and 2 from the 43. And able to make the catch there. Nicely done there. Jackson finding the open receiver, Nick Andrews. So Andrews, senior out of Roanoke, Virginia. Able to convert the first down. 9th first down of the contest for Averett. Pretty even in that department. Tornadoes with 10. 2:15 to play here. And counting here in the second quarter. Lights are now on here at Islamel Family Field. Inside handoff here. Bouncing off several tacklers was Litton. And clock continues to roll. Now 1:50. So it'll be 2nd and 4.
Brings up 2nd and 4.
Bryce Jackson, quarterback for Averett. And he's able to thread the needle through a couple of Tornado defenders. Able to find Tavian Goffigan.
Brought down by number 36, Terrian Burgess.
So that's Goffigan's first catch. 5th different receiver for Jackson. Now under a minute to play here in the second quarter. Pass there, and what a grab by Sean Watlington, his 2nd touchdown of the contest. And that was a thing of beauty. Watlington, almost like something you see from an NFL receiver, going up strong with the body. Jackson zipped it out there. Watlington brought it down. And just like that, the Cougars ahead 16-7, extra point pending. Will Cavanis kicks it through the uprights, and it's a 17-7 advantage for Averett. So 14 unanswered points for the Cougars, who've outscored Tornadoes 14-0 here in the second quarter. And that touchdown coming off the interception. So Averett making the Tornadoes pay for another turnover. Now 10 points off BC turnovers. 53 seconds left to play here. Quarter number 2. And here's DJ Taylor from the 3-yard line. Taylor cuts upfield. Some nifty running there on the kick return, but nonetheless stopped well before the 20-yard line. So 44 seconds left to play. We'll see what the Tornadoes decide to do here. All 3 timeouts available, but certainly not advantageous field position. And the last thing you want to do would be to turn it over once again to Averett in a situation like this when you're 44 seconds away from perhaps just regrouping in the halftime locker room. Now, it will be Averett's ball to start the second half, so that's worth noting as well. Chancellor Lee Parker right up the middle, a gang of Averett tacklers. Seth Harden, he's had a big game already. Harden with the tackle, and that will just about do it for the second quarter of play, as this will be the last play of the first half. Another run for Chancellor Lee Parker, and he's gang tackled just past the 20-yard line, and that'll do it for the first half. And there is a flag, some extracurricular on that final play of the first half. So we'll get this sorted out first before we head to those halftime locker rooms. I'm assuming there won't be another play here in this second half, perhaps, or in this first half, rather. Perhaps we'll see something on the kickoff of the second half enforced as the officials are continuing to huddle here. Both teams heading to their locker rooms. So that'll do it for the first half of play. Your score at halftime, Averett 17, Brevard 7. Hang with us after this message from Brevard College.
It's important to study English because language has power. And being able to understand the history of language and how it's been used over time and in our current era helps us be able to take control of that power and use it now and in the future.
I've learned to express myself with the written word more clearly. I've been given the tools with different structural techniques and all the good stuff that have made me a stronger writer, a stronger communicator.
You're going to learn not just the content of your major, whether it's English or history or whatever. You're going to learn how to learn. You're going to learn how to apply that learning and adapt as conditions change.
Writing is inherently experiential because students have to take so many important skills like critical thinking, communication, analysis, and translate those thoughts into a piece of oral or written communication, and then learn by doing how to be more effective communicators.
The English program at Brevard College prepares you for success in whatever field you choose to major in, whether it's theater, whether it's in the sciences or math, whether it's in business. The ability to communicate is important in no matter where you go, and one of the skills we teach is how to communicate clearly with your audience, whoever that may be.
The community here at Brevard, whether it be faculty, students, staff, are all people who learn and grow together. We learn from each other. There's no place where I don't feel welcome on campus, and that's the best part of that liberal arts education, is you're stepping into different learning styles and different content than you do at any old college where you don't get to grow the brain. It's a culture that encourages self-expression. You're allowed to be you here.
History
Back here at Islamel Family Field. Halftime. Averett with a 17-7 lead over the Tornadoes. Let's take a look at some halftime statistics. Both teams very even in the first down department. Averett 11, Brevard 10. Total yards, however, Averett with 248 compared to 138 for the Tornadoes. Very even distribution for Averett between the ground and the air. 122 rushing yards for the Cougars, 126 passing yards. Meanwhile, Tornadoes did much of their work through the passing game, 122 yards, have struggled with the rush, just 16 net rushing yards. And some of that's because of some quarterback sacks by the Averett defense. There were 2 turnovers. Those led to 10 Averett points. A fumble by Brevard and also an interception by quarterback Ethan Beamish. Beamish, meanwhile, overall was sharp. 12 of 19, did have a touchdown to Adam Douglas. Adam Douglas had 4 catches for 28 yards. Cooper Hogan was Beamish's other favorite target. He had 4 catches as well for 48 yards. So Douglas, 4 for 28 and a touchdown. Hogan, 4 for 48. Also Kyle Lovett, Chancellor Lee Parker, and Zachary Orr, all with receptions as well. We mentioned the running game. Devontae Murray, leading rusher for the Tornadoes with 20 yards on 4 carries. Averett benefited from a couple explosive plays, including a 75-yard rush in the opening quarter by Isaiah Litton. He leads all rushers with 5 carries for 89 yards. We also saw a big dose of Shaheem Watlington in that second quarter. Also part of that rushing attack for Averett. Draylon Martin and Gabby Soto. Bryce Jackson, the quarterback for the Cougars, 7 of 14 passing, so 50% completion percentage. No interceptions, 2 touchdowns. We mentioned the quarterback sacks that were a factor along with the turnovers. 3 quarterback sacks by the Averett defense. And we mentioned the big plays as well, the 75-yard rush for Litton. Well, Sean Watlington had a 50-yard touchdown to go along with another touchdown that came a bit later, a 21-yard pass from Jackson. 14 unanswered points in that second quarter by Averett have staked them to a 17-7 lead here at the half. So we'll see the Tornadoes regroup and see what kind of adjustments we'll see. If you recall, the game against Warner last time out here at Islamel Family Field, the Tornadoes trailed in that one 23-3 at halftime, and then came back outscoring Warner 20-0 in the second half to knot it up at 23 and head to overtime. Warner ended up winning in overtime. So we'll see if perhaps the Tornadoes can adjust in this one, much like they did in the home opener against Warner. Last week at Hampden-Sydney had a 17-10 lead at the half. And the Tornadoes, to start the third quarter, put together a drive capped off by a 27-yard run from Chancellor Lee Parker to tie the game at 17. However, Hampden-Sydney then scored 14 unanswered to take the 31-17 win. So certainly a tough assignment here for the Tornadoes to come back from 10 points down at the half, but at the same time, something they have accomplished before under head coach Bill Kyatt. Coach Kyatt with a really incredible resume if you consider it. All the places he's been, a standout tight end at Duke, and then had a playing career in both the NFL, places like the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Ravens, Carolina Panthers. Then he worked with the Arizona Cardinals of the NFL to get his coaching career started. Also worked under Hall of Fame head coach Joe Gibbs with the Washington franchise. And now here at Brevard College, where he continues to build one of the top programs, certainly in this part of the country, for small college football, and has put together an incredible staff. Guys like Martin Bayless, who has NFL experience too, as does Everett Lindsay, the offensive line coach. Chris Symington as well. We had Coach Simo on Tornado Talk this past week. One of the more popular interviews we ever had on Tornado Talk. People were talking about that one all week long. You might not know, Coach Simo, spent a year or two in the WWF after his playing career. So you know what kind of personality he has as a coach of these young men. Rounding out the coaching staff, Jack Wellenhofer. Also Josh Romero, Nick Eubanks, Ladarius Wiley, Garrett Groshek. Then there's a bunch of young coaches who are just doing some great work with the student athletes here at Brevard College, and also have an opportunity to launch their career under coaches like Kyatt and Bayless and Lindsay and Symington. Guys like Brandon Crawford, John Burton III, Connor Sampson, Miles Hayes, Brandon Unanks, and Jaden O'Leary, several of whom are alumni of Brevard College and certainly relatable to today's student athlete. So we're preparing for the start of the third quarter. Cougars 17, Tornado 7, your score at the half. And a key matchup here as the Tornadoes want to gain some momentum, get back on the winning side of the ledger as USA South Conference play begins next week, which, by the way, is homecoming. A little bit earlier this year, weekend of September 23rd. September 22nd, we'll have the Hall of Fame induction, which will include our very own Ray Gill, who handles the PA announcing here at Brevard College. Just an incredible baseball student athlete in his day here, tearing it up over there at Gilcone Field, setting all sorts of records. Well, we'll honor him on Friday night, along with Joe Tuttle Tyson of the cycling program and Scott Dvorak of cross country and track and field. So that's a special evening on Friday night, the Hall of Fame induction. There's activities all during the week for alumni, also for the students here at Brevard College. And then it culminates with the action on Saturday here at Islamel Family Field. There'll be a women's soccer game that afternoon, or actually technically late morning of Saturday the 23rd, an 11 a.m. kickoff versus NC Wesleyan in women's soccer, so you can get things going there. And then the football team for the homecoming football game, 6 p.m. versus Averett. Check that, 5 p.m. versus Maryville. My my mistake. We're watching the Avery game right now. But, yeah, 5 o'clock versus Maryville. The homecoming football game. Hope you can make it there for that one. There'll be a tailgate concert taking place, all sorts of festivities. Check it out. If you go to brevard.edu, you can find the full schedule of events. Both teams have made their way from the halftime locker room. You can see Averett team continuing some stretching. Tornadoes look like they're ready to go. And this will be a critical juncture here in this third quarter after Averett scored 14 unanswered in the second. We mentioned the Tornadoes coaching staff. Do want to mention Averett under the head coach Patrick Henry in his 4th season. And Patrick Henry and his squad currently leading 17-7. Averett will receive to start the second half. As Hugo Taylor will kick things off. And PJ Hopper on the return for Averett. Nice job on the coverage for Brevard. That kickoff return coverage has Averett pinned all the way back to the 10-yard line. So Tornadoes with their defensive personnel ready to go here to start this third quarter. And a rush for a first down. Quick gainer there, 14 yards. Draylon Martin.
Draylon Martin on the carry. Brought down by number 42, Wyatt Langford.
Wyatt Langford with the tackle. Here's Martin again. So Averett going to the ground attack here to start this third quarter. Tackle by William Green. First we've called William Green's number this evening, the freshman DB for the Tornadoes out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. 2nd and 6. From the 29, Bryce Jackson. Another handoff. Looks like Martin once again, 3 straight handoffs to Draylon Martin. Grimes checks out for the Tornadoes after his helmet came off. Obadiah Grimes, such a key part of that defense for the Nados. Nicholas Schultes checks in for Grimes and is in that nose guard position. 3rd and 5. Play action pass, able to find the open wide receiver, and that's going to be another Averett first down. Christian Williams, big tight end for the Cougars with the reception. All 6'3", 243 pounds of them. 13-13 to play here, third quarter. .12:55 and counting. 17-7, Cougars on top, third quarter. Rush here, and gain of 7, Draylen Martin. As Averett just continues to pound the rock here to start this third quarter. I'll bring up a 2nd and 3. Williams in motion. Carry once again by Martin and another first down. Draylen Martin. Heavy dose of Martin and the running attack for Averett here in this opening drive of the third quarter. Jamil George with the tackle. Jamil George, senior for the Tornadoes out of Dallas, Georgia. 11:53 and counting. Toby Naylor in the center of that defense for the Tornadoes. After all those running plays, here comes a deep shot by the Cougars. Nobody home. Well overthrown. Intended for Goffigan. Dylan James on the coverage. So after all those running plays, airing it out with the deep shot on 1st and 10. That'll bring up 2nd and 10 from the 45. It's Martin once again. Martin, some downhill running. Another gain of 7. So 2nd and 3. Check that. 3rd and 3. So critical third down here for the Tornado defense. .11 to play here, quarter number 3. Another rush to Martin, and he's going to work his way across the line to gain and another first down. And we have an injured Cougar. Looks like one of the offensive linemen. DK Byers Henderson, the injured player. He's being attended to by the Cougars athletic training staff. So 10:58 to play here in the third quarter. We'll take a quick break. Tenth play of the drive for the Cougars. And another running play. That's Soto. So after seeing Martin for 6 carries to start this drive, we're now seeing Soto. And another injured player. Grequencio Koger getting attended to by the Tornado athletic training staff. And nice round of applause for Quencio Koger. Had such a big game against Hampton-Sydney last week after missing the first game of the season. He's able to head to the sideline on his own power after being attended to by athletic training staff. Nicole Harshbarger and also Andrew Westrick handle the athletic training for the football program here at Brevard College. Appreciate all their work. Meanwhile, rush here, and Trey Williams eventually takes down Draylon Martin. And this is turning into an incredibly lengthy drive for Averett to start this third quarter. 5 minutes and 20 seconds and counting. And another running play. Martin once again. Wyatt Langford with the tackle. So now over 6 minutes, this opening drive of the second half for the Cougars. Back to pass is Jackson. Jackson able to find an open receiver. Martin this time with the catch. We've seen so much of Martin in the running game on this drive. And now, big time catch there all the way down near the goal line. So it's going to be first and goal. First and goal from the 3. After an 18-yard reception by Martin. Tornado defense is there. Bailey Ramey. Meet Draylon Martin. Draylon Martin with another rush. We've seen so much of him this drive. Now over 7 minutes and 20 seconds, the length of this drive. Chewing a lot of clock here in the third quarter. Second and goal from the 4. Pass there, incomplete. Jock Pledger there defensively. What a career Jock has had for the Tornadoes. Pass intended to Sean Watlington. That'll bring up third and goal from the 4. An incredibly long drive. Can the Tornadoes get a stop here on third and goal? Rush around the corner there, and the stop is made by the Tornadoes defensively. Toby Naylor was there, also Dylan James. Lyndon Galt there as well. And that'll bring on the field goal kicking unit. So far, Will Cavanis, 1 of 2 this evening. This is a short field goal attempt from 20 yards. And it's no good. Oh, my. There is a flag on the play. So We'll see what that's about. But the kick off the mark from just 20 yards, essentially the equivalent to an extra point. So what seemed like the Tornadoes absolutely dodging a bullet after that long drive. Own worst enemy, the offsides call. And it's going to be half the distance to the goal. Fourth down. So it's now 4th and goal from the 1 after the offsides call on the missed field goal that wasn't. And opportunity here to stop the Cougars on downs. Very close. No signal yet. And the Tornadoes look like they got the stop at the goal line on 4th and goal from the 1. Not sure who was in the middle of all that, but what a stop by the Tornadoes. Obadiah Grimes, Wyatt Langford. That is a big-time stop. So the Tornadoes, after almost shooting themselves in the foot with the offsides call on the field goal attempt, then with the stop on 4th and goal from the 1. And now the Tornadoes trying to dig their way out of that field position. Chancellor Lee Parker with the opening carry. So get this, that drive went 18 plays, 8 minutes and 16 seconds. You drive all the way down the field, and you come up with nothing after the turnover on downs. Meanwhile, there was a flag on that last play after the first down rush by Chancellor Lee Parker, but just wild stuff when you consider that drive by Averett. So an unsportsmanlike conduct call on Averett. Tony Totten Jr. And that's going to cost his squad 15 yards. So 1st and 10 from the 21. Rush here to Chancellor Lee Parker. Short gain. 2-yard rush. 2nd and 8 from the 23. Kumar Price was there on the tackle. So just a compelling start to this third quarter after that long drive. 18 plays, over 8 minutes it chewed up. Certainly did the job from Averett's perspective in terms of chewing up clock, but to not be able to capitalize and come up completely empty with 0 points after that kind of drive is mind-boggling at the same time. 5:31 to play here. Third quarter, another flag on the field. False start on the Tornadoes, so that'll push them back. So both these teams having trouble in the penalty department. Just the 4th penalty overall for the Tornadoes. A couple of them come at really tough spots, though, so it seems worse than that. Averett with 6 penalties on the day. And pass is complete. Ethan Beamish knows how to make some magic happen with his creativity and then somehow thread the needle through multiple defenders, and he's able to find Jack Spots for the catch. Just short of the yard to gain marker, so 3rd and 1 from the 30. Chancellor Lee Parker. And he's able to get the first down and then some. And you can feel the momentum now for the Tornadoes. Chancellor Lee Parker, the senior out of Auburn, Georgia, transfer before the start of last year from Mars Hill, just up the road north of Asheville. 4:10 to play here, quarter number 3. Beamish on the day, 13 of 20 for 134 yards, touchdown and an interception. And Tornadoes will burn a timeout here with 3:56 to play here in the third quarter. Your score, Averett 17, Brevard 7.
Every cheer, for every play, we know there's a little prayer that no one gets hurt. That's why we are there too. Party athletic trainers, physicians, and specialists. We're watching closely for any sign that someone needs care. And if your child is hurt, they're seen right away by the region's top specialists. The Party Sports Medicine team is at every game, match, race, practice, and workout, providing medical attention and guidance. For us, winning is all about playing healthy and smart so you can perform at your best.
So on a drive that started on Brevard's own 1-yard line, Tornadoes have worked their way up the field. Meanwhile, flag, and looked like a free play for the Tornadoes as, by all accounts, Averett jumped off sides. Pass was complete to Jordan Rowell. Jordan Rowell, dual sport athlete, also a member of the baseball team. Sophomore wide receiver out of Charlotte Hickory Grove Christian High School. 1st and 10 from the 45. Tornadoes, nice job on this drive thus far. Chancellor Lee Parker, again, another flag coming from the far side of the field. A lot of laundry these last few plays. So we'll see what the flag's all about, as the Tornadoes were able to cross midfield into Averett territory. This drive started after Tornadoes defense was able to get a takeaway on downs. Another false start on the Tornado offense. It's the kind of penalties that just drive a coaching staff berserk. So it'll be 1st and 15 from the 50. Pre-snap penalties. Pretty much every coach in football will tell you you got to avoid those. From the 50, Beamish. He's able to find an open receiver. Once again, Jordan Rowell. Jordan Rowell back to the original line of scrimmage, it looks like. A lot of activity along that sideline. So it'll be 2nd and 9. Tornado offensive line, Henry Tart, Hayden Schnell, Todd Norman, LaRoderick Rucker, Brody Lindsay from left to right. Pass protecting for Ethan Beamish. He's able to find open receivers, immediately hit. Driven out of bounds into the Averett bench area. Cooper Hogan with the reception. Check that, Jordan Rowell on the catch on that far sideline. Our apologies. We thought it was Hogan, then we thought it was Rowell. Well, it's Hogan. So Cooper Hogan with the catch on that far sideline. So 2 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Rowell with a couple catches. Hogan with a catch as of late on this drive. Meanwhile, here's Chancellor Lee Parker showing his skills as a pass catcher and then breaking some tackles. What a spectacular rush after the catch by Chancellor Lee Parker. Oh, my. Comparisons from some of the press box crew. Chancellor Lee Parker to the likes of Derrick Henry, and you can see that ability to break tackles left and right. He also has the ability to bust the big one if he ever shakes himself completely free. We've seen that before from Chancellor Lee Parker. Meanwhile, injured Cougar is Lamar Horner. He heads to the far sideline. 1:42 to play after a long opening drive by Averett. Went down all the way to the 1 yard line, then was stopped by the Tornado defense on downs. Another long drive here in the third quarter. We've only had 2 possessions in this entire quarter. So from the 29-yard line, Tornadoes trailing by 10. Regan Ramey is in that H-back position. And rush here, Chancellor Lee Parker once again. You can see him starting to gain some of his momentum. Feels like he's running downhill. Chancellor Lee Parker once again, 5-yard rush. Cooper Hogan has checked back in. And another rush for the Tornadoes behind the right side of that offensive line. Chancellor Lee Parker again as we're down to the final minute of the third quarter. Seth Marshall is also checked into the game. Freshman wide receiver from Heath Springs, South Carolina, Andrew Jackson High School. 3rd and 3. There's a 5-second differential between the game clock and the play clock as we head down towards the end of the third quarter. Rush here to Chancellor Lee Parker. Chancellor Lee Parker busted for the touchdown. Just what the doctor ordered. Chancellor Lee Parker. What a drive by the Tornadoes. It started all the way at the own 1 yard line, 99-yard drive. Capped off by the touchdown by Chancellor Lee Parker. Extra point now from Hugo Taylor. 17-13 your score. Extra point up. And make it 17-14. So Tornadoes, after the lengthy drive, able to cash in a 22-yard touchdown rush by Chancellor Lee Parker. The senior running back who has a knack for the spectacular, and he did it there. Now, just remarkable as far as this third quarter. Opening drive of the quarter, 18 plays, 89 yards, 8 minutes and 16 seconds for the Averett Cougars. They're stopped at the 1 yard line, and then Brevard gets the ball back, goes 12 plays, 99 yards in 6 minutes and 31 seconds, capped off by that touchdown by Chancellor Lee Parker. And just like that, we've got a field goal differential between these two teams, 17-14 with 9.4 seconds to play in the third quarter. P.J. Hopper from the 10. Hopper trying to turn up field. Tornadoes have done a nice job on this kickoff return defense, that unit of the special teams. And that was the last play of the third quarter. So we'll head to quarter number 4. Your score at Eyes Lamel Family Field. Under the lights, Cougars 17, Tornadoes 14. First play of the fourth quarter for the Cougars. And the ball came loose. Let's get a ruling here, and he may have been down. We're seeing the Tornadoes with a lot of excitement on that Gabby Soto rush, that the ball hit the ground, but the knee may have been down first. So it'll be a 4-yard rush officially. 2nd and 6.
Brings up 2nd and 6 for Averett.
Quarter number 4. We've reached the witching hour. And rush there. Gain of 5. Gabby Soto with the carry again. Again, between Litton, Martin, Gabby Soto. Also, Shyheim Watlington. Seen running back by committee for the Cougars. Something the Tornadoes utilize quite a bit as well. With Chancellor Lee Parker, Murray, and DJ Taylor. Rush here, and that's going to be, it looks like good for a first down, close to the markers. Rush by Soto once again.
Gabby Soto on the carry.
And it will indeed
Brought down by number 3.
be a first down. Coger Jr., who left the game briefly for an injury. Great to see him back out there with the tackle. Here's Soto again.
Gabby Soto on the carry.
And Soto's able to pick up a yard there. Quintrell Bowman with the tackle. We'll call it 2 officially, so 2nd and 8 from the 45. Bryce Jackson, quarterback for Averett. He's 9 of 18 for 154 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. But Averett's been using their ground attack mainly here in this second half. This time, Jackson fires away. Intended receiver was Brian Coley. Toby Naylor dropping back nicely in coverage from that middle linebacker position. So that'll bring up another big third down for the Tornadoes defense. Both teams have been very effective on third down throughout this game. Averett 7 of 11 in third down opportunities. And the Tornadoes 8 of 11. Just incredible efficiency in this department. But see what happens here. And making the catch there out of the backfield was Soto. Now the ball may have come loose, but not the case. You saw a lot of Tornado faithful kind of jump off their seats there as ball may have come loose momentarily, but once again it looked like the Cougar was down. Soto off the screenplay able to make the first down. Bailey Ramey has checked in for the Tornadoes at that linebacker position. 1st and 10 from the 46. Jameel George into the contest as well defensively for the Nados. Rush here, finding a hole. Nice job by the left side of that offensive line to clear some space for Isaiah Litton. So we saw a big dose of Soto earlier in this drive. Now we see Litton, and that's another first down for the Cougars. Left side of that line, Johnny Austin. Number 53, that left tackle, clearing some space out for his back, Litton. Rush here, it's Litton once again, and the Tornadoes are there defensively all over that play. Grequencio Coger Jr., the grad student from Macon, Georgia, read that well, and the big stop. So tackle for loss now, 2nd and 12 from the 35. And Tornadoes once again all over. The opportunity for the Tornado defense is capitalized on by Kentrell Holloway. So 2 big plays in a row by the Tornado defense. Holloway, the junior defensive back from Roxborough, North Carolina, laying some wood on a bigger player. 10:26 and counting, quarter number 4. Another third down opportunity here for Averett. Chance for the Tornadoes defense to get off the field, get the ball back in the offense's hands. Nice pass rush by the Tornadoes, and pass is incomplete. Nice job by that Tornado pass rush. Robert Dorsey getting into the backfield there. Also Hunter Davis. Meanwhile, punt here from the 37, and was able to place it just in front of the pylon. That was a thing of beauty. Like a pitching wedge. Beautifully placed at Augusta National. And that's going to make the work cut out for the Tornadoes. Backed up all the way at the 2-yard line. Now, the last drive for the Tornadoes began at the 1-yard line, and the Tornadoes went 12 plays, 99 yards for a touchdown. So, hey, 98 yards this time. Let's do it. Chancellor Lee Parker in the backfield. Rush to just try to get a little breathing room back there. And short gain there, but able to create some space. Gives the offense a little more of an opportunity to navigate there and diversify the play calling. So 2nd and 8 from the 4. Ethan Beamish and company. Tornadoes trail by 3. Chancellor Lee Parker in the backfield. Some movement before the snap, and now a deep ball. And then there was some contact on Zachary Orr out of bounds there. There was a flag there initially. There's a lot of confusion currently on the Islamel Family Field turf. And it's going to be a offsides on the defense. It was a free play for the Tornadoes, but there was a play out of bounds here that the referees I don't think saw. That looked like a late hit out of bounds on that free play by the Averett defensive back. So 5-yard penalty, now 2nd and 3 from the 9-yard line. Rush here. Chancellor Lee Parker, some beautiful moves, cutting left, and then right, and then left again. And another first down for the Tornadoes. Parker has just come alive here in this second half. So a first down for the Nados. Clock continues to tick. Now 8:53 and counting here in the fourth quarter. 14th carry of the game for Parker. He now has 70 yards. Here's Beamish. And was trying to find his wide receiver, Adam Douglas, along that near sideline. But Douglas is out of bounds, so incomplete. Bring up a 2nd and 10. Under the lights here at Islamel Family Field, an electric environment. Now seeing some precipitation. .66 degrees on a beautiful September evening here in the mountains. Pass there to Reggie Taylor, and you can see the wheels on Reggie Taylor. By most measurables, the fastest player on the Tornado roster. Big part of that track and field program here at Brevard College as well. And Reggie Taylor able to earn the Tornadoes another first down with that reception and then those yards after the catch. Sophomore wide receiver out of Charlotte, North Carolina, Mountain Island Charter High School. 8:10 and counting here in the fourth quarter. Regan Ramey is checked in at that H-back position. Reggie Taylor remains in the game as well, out wide. Rush here from DJ Taylor. And Taylor bulldozes his way forward to the 44. So a nice first down gainer there. Six, maybe 7-yard gain there from Taylor. 7:30 and counting. We've seen long drives here in this second half. Have chewed a lot of clock. And Averett read that one entirely, that handoff to DJ Taylor, and that's a big tackle for loss. Loss of 3. So 3rd and 6 from the 41 of Brevard. This is a key play to keep this drive going. Ethan Beamish from the shotgun. On 3rd down, able to find DJ Taylor, and he is stopped. Averett's defense was there Well done there. Roland Norfleet III and Damian Payton may have just made the play of the game defensively for Averett. Tornadoes will have to punt it away. Nicholas Akis. And that'll go out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. So we'll see where the mark is. Actually, it's going to make it all the way to the 25, so a 33-yard punt. And Averett will take over 1st and 10 from there. Now, Averett has been effective running the ball in this second half, and so it's kind of important that the Tornadoes get a stop quickly here, because the way Averett's been running the ball here in the second half, they could easily chew up 5 minutes and 58 seconds off the clock, which is all we have left here in the fourth quarter. 1st and 10 from the 25. Bryce Jackson's going to go to the air, and he's able to find his open receiver, Nick Andrews, but incomplete as he was out of bounds on that far sideline. Nick Andrews, the senior wide receiver, Roanoke, Virginia, William Fleming High School. Great rivalry between the Tornadoes and Averett. 7th straight season the two teams have played. Used to be rivals in the USA South Conference, have continued playing now that they're in different conferences. Averett in the ODAC. Tornadoes in the USA South. And big stop there by the Tornadoes, a tackle for loss. Grequencio Koger Jr., who else? We've been calling his name all night long. That is his second tackle for loss and his 6th tackle overall this evening, and he's had a couple in some big spots after a big game against Hampton-Sydney as well. 3rd and 13. And the Tornadoes are all over the screen pass to Sean Watlington. Dylan James was there first amongst a army of Tornadoes. Also, Jock Pledger was right there as well. So that's exactly what the Tornadoes needed, a quick 3 and out to keep the ball out of Averett's hands in that rushing attack of theirs, to where they could have extinguished the clock. This is a beautiful punt. And out of bounds at the 30. So nicely done there. A 40-yard punt. Mason Smith getting it done for Averett on special teams, part of that punting unit. 4:36 to play, fourth quarter. Reached crunch time here at Islamel Family Field under the lights. 1st and 10 from the 30. Ethan Beamish drops back, quickly finds Cooper Hogan for a short gain via the air. So gain of 5. That was Cooper Hogan's 6th catch for 55 yards. Big day for Cooper Hogan, leading receiver for the Tornadoes. Adam Douglas has 4 catches. Jordan Rowell has 3. So we've got an injury on the far side of the field, all the way down at the 10-yard line, just out of bounds, is an Averett player. So I think the priority here is to make sure the playing field is clear had a lot of stoppages sort of like this throughout this game. Oftentimes the injured players out of bounds, but they might still be working on them with a foot or two in play, but able to get things under control and back to action here. Chancellor Lee Parker in the backfield. Beamish drops back to pass, and he's able to find an open receiver. That's a first down. Adam Douglas, beautifully done there. 5th catch of the night for Douglas, and just what the doctor ordered for the Tornadoes to move the sticks and keep this drive going. We're down under 4 minutes to play. .345 and counting. A Tornado first down. Beamish back to pass. And that'll be incomplete, so it'll be 2nd and 10. An 11-yard pass to Douglas. Ethan Beamish. That was big to keep the drive going. Beamish now 21 of 29 for 202 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And he's charged with marching his offense down the field here, trailing by 3 points. And there's a quarterback sack by Averett. We saw 3 of those in the first half by the Cougar defense, and that has been a big factor in this contest. Namari Borders, a cornerback off a corner blitz, able to sack Beamish, and that is going to push the Tornadoes way back. Third and 19. Beamish, deep shot. There was a little bit of contact there, but that's the kind of thing most referees will just let go. And suddenly, that sack just changed the dimension of everything. And now the Tornadoes face a 4th and 18. There's a timeout on the field. Brevard takes their 2nd timeout of the half, so they have 1 remaining. And facing a 4th down here, down to just 1 timeout. 4th and 18. Obviously a very difficult down and distance. You could punt it away. You've got 1 timeout left, totally putting it on the shoulders of your defense at that point. And at the same time, if you were to try to go for it, 4th and 18th, it's just so ambitious. So stuck between a rock and a hard place here. 2:41 left to play. It's been a compelling ball game. Averett led this game 17-7. The only scoring in the second half came off a incredible drive by the Tornadoes, 99 yards, capped off by a Chancellor Lee Parker 22-yard rushing touchdown. So the Tornadoes are going to go for it. 4th and 19 officially. Beamish looking for his options, going deep. Off the helmet of an Averett defender. Intended to Zachary Orr. And broken up by the Averett Cougars, P.J. Hopper. Down to just 1 timeout. That might have been the only option the Tornadoes had, was to go for it there on 4th and long. Went with a deep shot. Well covered by the Averett secondary. And now Averett takes over in Tornadoes territory. Now, we saw something sort of like this in the Warner game, the season opener, where we were like ready to start packing up, and Warner fumbled the football, and the Tornadoes got it back late and forced overtime. But Averett, I'm sure ball security is the priority at the moment, as Martin with the carry, Eli Everhart with the tackle. So nice job there on first down by the Tornado defense. Short gain of 2, so 2nd and 8 from the 35. There's one timeout left in the Tornadoes' back pocket. Martin in the backfield. Williams in motion. Handoff to Martin. Tornadoes defense forcing Martin outside, and then a open field tackle by Jock Pledger. What a tackle by Jock Pledger in that open field. And timeout by Brevard to stop the clock with 1:41 to play. Final timeout of the half. What a tackle there by Jock Pledger to keep the Tornadoes' hopes alive. And we'll be facing a 3rd and 6. A first down by Averett would pretty much do it in terms of this contest. A stop by the Tornadoes, and you're keeping a close eye on the clock. 3rd and 6 from the 33. Martin in the backfield. Handoff to Martin. The Tornadoes get the stop. Got the stop they needed. Clock will continue to tick. Tornadoes out of timeouts. Now down to 90 seconds to play. 30 seconds currently on the game clock. So 4th and 5. You'd imagine one option for Averett's let it run all the way down, call a timeout, try a field goal attempt. You could run a play and just chew more clock, hope for a first down perhaps. So some different options here. Now, a field goal attempt would be a lengthy one at the 32-yard line. Be about 49 yards. We haven't seen that kind of range necessarily from the Averett place kicker. And a timeout with 56.5 seconds by Averett. So they will talk this over, what they want to do on 4th and 5. So several options for the Averett coaching staff. They could have tried a long field goal, but imagining that's out of their range, would have been 49 yards. You could maybe punt it, perhaps even a pooch punch here. Bryce Jackson in the shotgun position. Now, if the Averett makes a first down, if they run a play here, game's over. If they get stopped, there will be a turnover and downs. Now they're just trying to get the Tornadoes to jump off sides, it looks like. They're probably going to burn another timeout here or just take a delay of game. And we'll get the official ruling. Delay of game, so that'll back them up, and so that'll probably set up a punt here. So they were trying to draw the Tornadoes off sides, which would have given them a first down. Game would have been over from there. Instead, take the delay of game penalty, back it up 5 more yards. Actually makes it a little easier on the punter. And now the goal of Mason Smith is to pin the Tornadoes back, and very close. Mason Smith did his job. That ball bounced at about the 3-yard line. The punt team of Averett was not able to keep that out of the end zone. So signs of life for the Tornadoes. Out of timeouts, 47.9 seconds to play. You have to get into field goal range of Hugo Taylor, who won the USA South Conference Special Teams Player of the Week in Week 1. But first things first, Tornadoes have got to get a couple gainers here, get the ball upfield. Beamish back to pass and was looking along that far sidelines. It'll be incomplete. 2nd and 10 from the 20. So 2nd and 10 from the 20, 44 seconds left to play. Out of timeouts. Beamish back to pass and was looking for Adam Douglas. You can see Averett is really in the pass protection defense and making it difficult for Beamish to really find the openings he's looking for. .9 seconds to play, 4th quarter. 3rd and 10. Beamish back to pass. And incomplete once again. The Averett defense, the pass defense, is stepping up these last few plays here, and that's going to bring up 4th down. This is the ball game, folks. 4th and 10 from the 20. 34 seconds left to play. Beamish. One last chance. Jack Spots into the game. Also Seth Marshall. Zachary Orr, another potential target. Cooper Hogan as well. Beamish back to pass. Beamish trying to buy time. Sends it up towards Jack Spots, but that'll be incomplete over the right arm of Jack Spots. And turnover on downs. And that'll do it for the Tornadoes' chances, barring something absolutely bizarre on what should be the final snap of the game here for the Averett Cougars. So Cougars in their victory formation. Final 26 seconds, and that'll tick away. Cougars 17, Tornadoes 14 as the time ticks away here at Eyes Lamel Family Field. Big second half for Brevard. Some key moments ended up going Averett's way. And the time ticks away here as the two teams will shake hands at midfield. Your final score, Averett 17, Brevard 14. Stick with us. We'll bring all the final statistics and highlights from this one. Averett 17, Brevard 14. Final at Eyes Lamel Family Field. Back here at Islamel Family Field. Your final score, Averett 17, Brevard 14. So it's a compelling ball game where the Tornadoes came back in that second half, but were not able to get over the hump. And Averett earns the win. Averett improves to 3-0. Brevard drops to 0-3 to start this young 2023 season. There's still USA South Conference play ahead beginning next week. Homecoming game versus Maryville. Bring you all the numbers here in just a moment. A lot of different players touching the ball on both the offensive, defensive end. Big thanks to Atticus Cooper getting it done with that spotting job of his. But the Tornadoes come up short here, 17-14. Well, the scoring began back in the first quarter as Will Cavanis hit a 26-yard field goal to give the Cougars a 3-0 lead. The Tornadoes put together a nice drive at the end of the first quarter, capped off by a Ethan Beamish touchdown pass to Adam Douglas. Extra point by Hugo Taylor made it 7-3. Meanwhile, Averett then took a 10-7 lead after a 50-yarder. Sean Watlington going to the house off of a Bryce Jackson pass. And then another touchdown pass to Watlington, this one from 21 yards at the end of the second quarter, gave Averett a 17-7 lead heading into the third. Kind of a bizarre third quarter, two very long drives. The Cougars all the way down to the 1-yard line were stopped on downs, and Brevard got the ball back, drove 99 yards, capped off by a 22-yard rush by Chancellor Lee Parker. Hugo Taylor nailed the extra point, making it 17-14. Then we headed to the fourth quarter where we were scoreless all the way around. Tornadoes trying to get some opportunities late, but a couple of inopportune penalties, turnovers, and allowing some quarterback sacks at some inopportune times really made the difference in this one. Averett was led by their quarterback, Jackson. He went 12 of 24 for 2 touchdowns. Jackson, by the way, do want to mention this note. He tied Averett's career touchdown passing record with those 2 touchdown passes. His leading target was Sean Watlington, 4 catches for 67 yards and the 2 touchdowns we mentioned. And then the running game for Averett. This was a factor, certainly in the second half especially, but Isaiah Litton led the way, 8 carries for 102 yards. He had a long as 75 way back in the first quarter. That was a huge play for the Cougars. Draylen Martin, 18 carries for 77 yards. Also had a catch for 19 yards. Then we also saw Gabby Soto, 7 carries for 25 yards. We mentioned Sean Watlington. Shaheem Watlington, his brother, had 4 carries as well for that Averett ground attack. Brevard individually, Ethan Beamish, 21 of 36 with 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 202 yards. We mentioned the 1 interception. That was a killer. But the 4 quarterback sacks by the Cougar defense against Beamish really proved costly for the Tornadoes. Beamish did a great job spreading it around to all sorts of wide receivers. 9 different wide receivers coming in with the receptions from Beamish. 6 catches for Cooper Hogan for 55 yards. It's a big day for Hogan. Adam Douglas, a big day as well, had the touchdown, 5 catches for 39 yards. Chancellor Lee Parker out of the backfield, 2 catches for 31. Jordan Rao with 3 catches for 24 yards. Also catches by Lovett, Taylor, Spots, and DJ Taylor as well. So both Reggie Taylor and DJ Taylor. Chancellor Lee Parker was the leading rusher for the Tornadoes. 13 carries for 67 yards. Had a couple great runs in that second half in particular. Also had that touchdown rush. Devontae Murray, 4 carries for 20 yards, and DJ Taylor had 5 carries for 14 yards. Zachary Orr, we saw him in that sort of tailback position a couple times. 2 carries for 5 yards. Tornadoes had the interception, also had a lost fumble. And it all added up to Averett taking this 17-14 lead. Team statistics, Averett with a 20-18 first down advantage. Total yards, Averett 366, 274 for the Tornadoes. 207 rushing yards for Averett, 72 for the NATOs. NATOs led in receiving yards, 202 to 159. Brevard committed 5 penalties for 37 yards. Averett 8 for 78. Both teams were effective on third down for the most part, even though that kind of faded away late. Very similar days in that department. 8 of 15 for Averett, 8 of 14 for Brevard. Well, that'll just about do it for us here on the campus of Brevard College. Do want to tell you what's coming next for the Tornadoes, as next week will be homecoming with the big matchup versus Maryville. 5 p.m. kickoff right here at Islamel Family Field 1 week from today, Saturday, September 23rd. That'll cap off a weekend of all sorts of activity, including Hall of Fame inductions. And then Tornadoes will hit the road at Greensboro, then home against Southern Virginia on October 7th. But the key point in all that is that game against Maryville next week, the start of USA South Conference play for Brevard College. Well, do want to thank everybody who helped us behind the scenes. Spotter Atticus Cooper, the Brevard College men's lacrosse team, these guys who help us up in the press box, just exceptional. They've been working with us for several years now and have the trained eye of a NFL stats crew and can really get it done, keeping up with all the numbers. Sports Information Director Joseph Marvin and all the folks who help out behind the scenes as well. Big thanks to our sponsors, including our game day sponsor, Jets Pizza. I know our fans always enjoy a slice from Jets. And just want to thank you, NATO Nation, for continuing to support these student athletes throughout all the sports at Brevard College. We'll have men's soccer action tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. Brevard takes on Washington and Lee, the team that the men's soccer team played in the NCAA Division III tournament last fall. This time they come here to Brevard. And then we'll have Tornado Talk on Monday night as well if you want to check that out. Well, that'll do it for us here at Islamel Family Field. Many thanks once again for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit that little bell so you receive all the notifications when the Tornadoes go live. Your final score for the final time: Averett 17, Brevard 14. Go Tornadoes.